Hello everyone, Elijah here, and I normally do not do videos like this. Don't expect this to be a normal thing unless you actually want me to, because I do stay up pretty much all the time. I'm pretty much nocturnal when it comes to, so I always see when the news comes out, right when it comes out, and I literally was dying laughing seeing the balance adjustments patch and seeing that Solitaria of the Snow is on the adjustments. And I literally just made an RTA video complaining about Solitaria of the Snow and how she needs buffs. So I think it was even an RTA video. I did it in an RTA video, and I also did it in a different video where I just talked about things that Epic 7 should add to their game and stuff like that. And I can't believe it. Solitaire of the Snow and Designer Lilibet are getting buffs. I haven't seen what it is yet, so I really want this to be my genuine first reaction. And it's either I don't know. I am excited to see. But yeah, the heroes that are being adjusted. Solitaire the Snow Designer a little bit. Chloe, I think Chloe was kind of used for Wyvern, so maybe they'll like fully commit to Chloe being a PvE unit and helping her with doing Wyvern or something. Then we have Celine. Oh, I'm excited for Celine. Ooh, Lilibet, that should be interesting. I do have a quite a bit. I have Celine and Lilibet, but I have no reason to build them, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Sinful Angelica, I actually had to 6-star my Sinful Angelica for the Abyss, so it would be nice to see kind of maybe be able to use her outside of PvE stuff. I honestly don't know. Well, Aiden, I guess Aiden, isn't Aiden their new like 3-star? I guess they are adjusting her. Interesting. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. Hold on. Is Aiden the dude that I think it is. I think Aiden's the guy. I'm pretty sure Aiden's like that green Earth 3-star. Lucy, I didn't play when Lucy was released, so I don't have a Lucy. And Ainos, I don't know too much about either. Cradle of Life, that's Sigrid's artifact. Little Queen's huge crown, that's Chloe's artifact. And Elle's fist, yeah. Anyway, let's get to the what I really excited about. Whew, okay. Let's go into so her pew pew pew. I'm pulling up Epic 7 on my phone so I can actually look at what the abilities, which ability it is to make sure that I am looking at things correctly. But so for their adjustments to Pew Pew Pew, which is her S1, she attacks all enemies with a staff. Still same AoE, 75% to dispel one buff. Okay, that's good. So now you don't have to take Iloa's or Violin on her because she has a dispel already built in her kit. So you don't have to take Violin. Opens up artifacts. When the caster is granted Daydream, it activates Whoosh or whatever that is, and as an extra attack, and then it attacks all enemies with mana with a 25% chance to stun. Um, what is, I don't know what they mean by that. So, are they saying that like, okay, so she attacks, has a chance to dispel. Oh, okay, now I'm starting to get it. So she does an AoE attack. So if they have immunity up, right? She doesn't attack, dispel one buff, ideally the immunity, and then she has a chance to trigger an extra attack, which would then dispel um, or didn't have the chance to stun people. So it basically is to strip and stun, essentially. That's what I've gathered from this. Um, so they decrease the pew pew pew's damage. Okay, so it'll be essentially the same damage as before, except now it's separated in two different abilities. Okay, that's fine. This one's okay. I still think that, you know, the fact that it, will counter or can counter, um, or people that like Lions or like Violets, it's still, it helps. It helps. It's a good direction. I wanna go home. I think that is her S2. So decrease amount of focus gain uh, by the enemy by 100%. Okay, that's still the same. At the start of the turn, has a 100% chance to grant Daydream for one turn, and at the end of the turn, has a 100% chance to grant Stealth for one turn. Okay, so they're moving the stealth into her passive, which is nice because it allows her to continually keep herself into stealth, which I think is actually pretty good. Given the fact that I already see in her S3, they've added for her to have a barrier, and that is so amazing. I literally was saying that, oh my gosh, that she needs to have like a barrier in her kit. Like it just needs to happen. So they moved the stealth into her S2, and then in her S3, essentially they just added that it grants a barrier to the caster for 2 turns. Oh wait, let's go to the awakened one. Yeah, so I'm assuming that her soul burn is still the same, being that because they didn't change it. So her soul burn still is probably the same, being that it sends the buff durations, which in this case, it actually is fine, I guess. You get a Well, you get an extra turn, so I guess it allows you to, like, I guess it allows you to stay in stealth and also, allows you to I guess she can really go for, like, multiple turns, right? If she soul burns, right, she goes 1 turn, her S3, strips, stuns, gets grants an extra turn, which then she has Daydream, right? She uses her S1, she strips, the whole team, so if there's any more buffs that needs to be stripped, she can do that, and then procs, her Fusha, where she then has a chance to stun. So it seems like they very much made her into a control unit and very much like hammered down on that control play style. So yeah. Um, so now I guess this does help her to be used in other situations. I guess you don't necessarily have to use her into a focus gain hero. It's just kind of like a bonus. Now she has a kit that can actually be used into other scenarios. So I think this is a good buff. Um, Still really wish that this couldn't be countered. That's my only thing, but everything else seems really fine. I'm so happy they added this barrier. Really happy they added that barrier. Now it's time for the alleged worst MO5, being designer Lilibet. I actually don't really know what designer Lilibet's original kit really did, so I'm kind of going to skim through this a little bit, or go through these a little bit faster. So, um, when an enemy turns in, gains 10 fighting spirit for each debuff inflicted on an ally, and then, okay, so she gets an increased defense for 1 turn. This is her passive. So they got rid of the at the end of somebody's turn. I guess they got rid of this so it couldn't be manipulated. I'm not for sure how Design a little bit works fully just because I've never played against her. I actually had a friend who has her and has her or had her build, but I like just one shot her, so I don't really know what she does, to be completely honest. So maybe this helps, I'm not for sure. Her S2 decreases debuff duration of all allies for 2 turns. Or I think this is our S2. Maybe I think this is her S3 actually. Yeah, this is her S3. I think this is her passive. This is her S3. Let's go to the awaken part because that's all that matters. Decrease debuff duration of all allies for 2 turns. Yada yada. Increase combat readiness of all allies except for the caster by 15%. Um, okay, so she kind of has like a so okay, I can see it how they have her kit now. So she kind of if she gets debuffed, then she kind of pushes herself up. She has more protection because she has like defense buff. And then after that, she then can push up her allies to then follow up for her as after she decreases debuff duration. I think this is a good change. Um, it seems nice. I don't know. Once again, I don't have design a little bit, so I don't really know if this is enough to help her out. But I think this helps her not be able to get manipulated as much when it comes to when she gets debuffed. Um, so yeah, maybe this helps her out a lot. I am not for sure, but yeah, let's go on to Chloe. Inflicts nails for 3 turns, and now all it does is attacks enemies before increasing combat readiness of the caster by 50%. Wait, what? Okay, so does she just use it and then get like a kind of like how Meteor to Coward when he uses his S3 he gets a boost. So I guess this maybe helps her cycle faster. Increased damage or damage dealt decrease, but she has more turn cooldowns or lesser cooldowns. Increased attack of the caster for 2 turns when using Magic Bolt. I guess this helps her cycle through because I don't know what actually the debuffs nails do per se. Because once again, definitely something that like doesn't really get used much at all. Let's see, nails. When attacked, receives additional damage equivalent to 2% of the max HP, with a 25% chance to be stunned for 1 turn. Um, oh, I guess this allows her to then attack somebody who has nails on them. So I think maybe her issue before was that after she uses her, um, after Magic Bolt procs, it then makes it harder for her to then follow up and actually deal damage to the person who has nails, the nail effect on them. So this allows her to like go through that, I guess. Celine, what are they doing to this Celine? After an enemy uses a non-attack skill, dispel all debuffs from the caster, which is really nice, and increases combat readiness of the caster. This was so essentially, I'm pretty sure in Celine's artifact, this is what it did. So now she kind of just has now it like guarantees that she will cut in front, like ahead of everybody, to do her ooh, grants a barrier to the caster for 2 turns. And it is ooh, this is actually really good for Celine. I might actually build my Celine. Hold on. The healings decrease, but increase evade. This actually makes it, since they're putting Celine's artifact in her kit, you actually can probably take like Moonlight Dreamblade on her, right? And then just like have that so then you have like the 70% or so invasion, which makes it harder for her to be killed because she has basically her artifact that they made for her in her kit. So wow, that's actually really good. I might build my Celine actually. This is actually a really good buff for Celine. And actually helps her a lot because her Thunderclap is what used to dispel debuffs initially. And now it's just in her passive. That is really good. Um, let's see. Yeah, because this doesn't really help if she was stunned. You know what I mean? So like if she was stunned, it doesn't really help because I think she has to actually use her S3 in order for the debuffs to dispel. So yeah, this helps a lot, putting it in her passive and also making it so that the increased combat readiness is in her kit. So for Lilibet, what's going on here? So now she has, she has a higher chance. Let me go to the Awakened. She has a higher chance to inflict 3 bleeding effects. It's by 5% for 2 turns. And when the target is bleeding after the attack, increases combat readiness of the caster by an additional 50%. That's interesting, I guess. Same scenario as, not the same scenario as, uh, not here. Where is it? Who was the hero that had, did I literally just go, oh, same scenario as Chloe, I guess. She lands a debuff, then it allows her, well, Chloe doesn't have to land a debuff, but or maybe she does have to actually land it. Um, okay, no, she doesn't have to land it. That also ignores effect res. That's also nice, but that's already in the kit. Anyway, it's actually good because I think it allows her to actually use. cycle faster to be able to do what Lilibet needs to do. So yeah, so maybe it makes it so that she is built fast with some effectiveness. So she uses snip snip and then goes into her extinction with Soul Cutter. And then this decreases the caster cooldown by 1 turn, so then it allows her to, which then puts Snip Snip on like a 2 turn cooldown, which allows her to kind of like cycle through that. And then she grants herself skill null so she can also protect herself. That's really good. I think that will help a little bit. She might be used. I don't know if she'll be like meta by any means, but I guess it helps. You know, it helps. Any little thing helps. It kind of allows people who really like Lilibet to be able to use her a lot more. So I'm fine with that. And then this dispels 2 debuffs from the caster before the skill effect when using Snip Snips. Okay. This is actually a better thing for her too, because debuffs are all over the place, stuns are all over the place. Being able to dispel that stun from whoever you're using is really good. Sinful Angelica, let's see. So, Dark Salvation. Hold on, I'm pulling up Sinful Angelica real quick. Let's see, what is that? That is her S3. Okay, that's her S3. So now it dispels 1 debuff from all allies. That could be really good. I don't. What do people use Sinful for? Other than. That's what it is. Oh, this is probably so that if somebody has um, put unable to be buff on their team, then Sinful can just dispel it and grant attack up to all allies and increase speed. I think that's probably what they are doing for this kit. It's probably so that, you know, if unable to be buff is applied to your team, you can cleanse it and then, you know, use so that you can actually grant the increased attack of all allies and increase speed, which I think is really nice. It'll help her out a lot. And then Ainos, I have no idea what that unit is, to be honest. I think it's an ML 3 star. Um, let's see. Okay, it's the Soul Weaver girl. Um, Soul Burn, increase effect chance. That's always nice, and decrease defense of the for 2 turns. Sheep, Soul Burn, and it decreases defense for 2 turns. That's actually really good. Um, and then this lowers her cooldown. Okay, I think this is pretty good. I know she is actually used on one Abyss 4, or can be used for one Abyss 4. Um, so I mean that's nice, I guess. Always decreased defense is always good. She's an interesting Soul Weaver that you want to have effectiveness on, I guess. Um, Lucy, do not know what Lucy does. Was not playing when Lucy was released. Lower the cooldowns, health recovery. I guess this is okay. So it adds the effect of being able to recover health of allies, and the amount recovered is proportional to the caster's max health. That's good. Don't really know if that will help. Oh, I guess it's for a Katie's hunt. That's what it seems to be for. Adin, who I honestly forgot existed in this game. If this isn't the Adin the newest Adin, right? It is the newest Adin. Oh, okay. I was like, is this the newest? It is. I thought I was thinking of Adelaide earlier, but yeah, a weakness there cannot be dispelled. That actually helps a lot, just because bosses can dispel stuff. Okay, that's all. Then yeah, I guess that helps a lot. It makes for PvE stuff a lot better since it is Aiden's special effect, and it getting dispelled kind of makes it pointless. Cradle of Life, it seems like there increases the chance to do things, making it 2 turns, and adding burn instead of poison. Um, don't you think poison's better? I would, wouldn't you only use this artifact like for like a PvE purpose, right? I don't know. Maybe there are other units that could use this, but I mean, it does help, I guess. I mean, it's 2-turn debuff, so random, but hey, any bit helps. Um, I guess there are other units. 'Cause I think it's a warrior artifact. I guess there are some warriors that could use it, but I am not for sure. Little queens each crown. Increased damage dealt when a caster attacks with a single attack. Okay, so this basically makes it so that a single attack. Oh, this is actually really good. This is actually, I think this is actually really good. So she has the increased damage, or anybody using this artifact has the increased damage. Regardless, it just has to be a single attack. And then it increases additionally if the enemy has a barrier. This is actually really good because I think the biggest issue here is that it's for, it's kind of like it seemed like it was almost like they took the effect that Operator Secret has, I'm pretty sure, and then put it into, well, I don't know who came first, either this artifact or Operator Secret, but either way, I think this will help out a lot. This will make this artifact usable for a lot of warriors, especially like single target warriors. And then we have the L's Fist, and it just has the increased attack by 10% as health decrease. Okay, so it basically, both of these artifacts, they basically made it so that they have like a base level, you know, reason to use the artifact without it being conditional. And I think that concludes all of our, all of our updates. I'm really happy about Solitaria. Still, my only complaint, wish that this couldn't get countered, but I guess that would be too OP, even though there's so many units that have that effect. Um, but this will help her out, I think, a little bit, especially having the barrier. Designer Lilibet, I'm not for sure if that's going to help. Maybe. This will probably help a lot for PvE stuff. Celine, I think Celine probably is the winner of this. I think Celine probably has the best buff out of everybody. I really think Celine might make a lot more of appearance in the meta currently. And just in the like in general, like people are probably gonna like use Celine a lot more. I really think this is gonna help her out a lot. Yeah, but yeah, that concludes everything of our um, developer notes, balance adjustments preview. I'm excited for some of these adjustments. I'm excited to potentially build Celine for this as well. But yeah, that'll conclude this video. If you guys did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next vid. Bye!